Hello viewers, my name is Dr. Violet Makuku of the Association of African Universities. I'm the quality assurance expert. Today we bring you a very interesting topic on women in higher education, the prospects and challenges. I'll introduce to you our guest when we come back. Thank you.
The Federal University of Technology Akure FUTA was established in 1981 to promote science and technology education in Nigeria. FUTA has 8 schools: School of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology, School of Sciences, School of Engineering and Engineering Technology, School of Earth and Mineral Sciences, School of Environmental Technology, School of Management Technology, School of Health and Health Technology, School of Computing, and the School of Postgraduate Studies. The university has also grown rapidly in terms of student enrollment, with a population of approximately 20,000 undergraduates. In addition to the 8 schools, FUTA also has specialized research and allied centers for ease of academic and research administration. FUTA enjoys flourishing academic relationships with several reputable centers of excellence in teaching and research. Over the years, the university has contributed tremendously to national development through critical research, breakthroughs, and production of more than 25,000 graduates who are trailblazers in different areas of the economy. The university has carved a niche for itself in cutting-edge research. It's won and is hosting the World Bank Center of Excellence in Food Security. It also hosts the West African Science Service Center for Climate Change and Adapted Land Use, WASCA, financed by the German government. FUTA emerged the winner of the 2015 edition of the National Mathematical Championship for university students, among other distinctions. FUTA remains one of the most peaceful universities in Nigeria, one university with calendar stability and predictability that prides itself in high-caliber scholarship, professionalism, manpower development, and science, technical, and engineering education. FUTA, technology for self-reliance.
Hello viewers, welcome back. Today I'm going to introduce to you Professor Ibimina Kakulu from Rivers State University of Science and Technology. She is a professor of land management and valuation. She is also a director of quality assurance, and they visited AAU in order to have some training in quality assurance. Recently, they set up a huge directorate in the River State, a directorate of quality assurance. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku.
I just want to ask you to give us a general brief. We are talking of women in higher education, prospects and challenges. In general, just give us the path you have traveled in higher education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku. My career in higher education has a long history, and I will make it as short as I can. I graduated in 1985 with a degree in estate management, and during my 1-year national service in Nigeria, I was made to lecture at a polytechnic. And that was 34 years ago. I have never left higher education since then until now. I have lectured at the Department of Estate Management, at the Faculty of Environmental Sciences of the former Rivers State University of Science and Technology, and recently changed to Rivers State University. And during that time, I have been head of department. I have headed the physical planning unit, and I have been involved in international collaboration. We've done a lot of projects with the AAU and with the United Nations Environment, and currently I am the director of the Quality Assurance Directorate at the Rivers State University.
Yes, I can see the track record of leadership there. So now people talk about quality assurance as something that is challenging, as something that is what people describe it in a way that somebody to be appointed in that position, you may fear tackling it. What's your comment on that?
Absolutely. I mean, what I have realized as a researcher is that you can pass an exam if you study hard.
Yes.
And so when the appointment was made, yes, the initial panic, quality assurance, where do I start? But I began to look around for resources, and I found out that the AAU on the continent had been championing quite a lot on quality assurance. So my initial focus was to begin to download some of their materials and get an understanding, and I realized that the task ahead would be challenging. But again, if you are familiar with leadership, leaders usually have very few friends in the beginning until people actually understand what it is they're doing and can find a way to buy into it, and it becomes something they take ownership of. Once people can take ownership of a new product, then you can be said to have succeeded.
That's
yes,
good.
so that is, yeah.
It's good to hear. Okay, now I understand you came to the Association of African Universities for a quality assurance training. What are the new things that you have learned, and how are you going to use them to move on?
Oh, very interesting. I mean, when the training started, it was like we decided to sort of empty your mind of what misconceptions or preconceptions you might have thought you knew. And I just said, a good student listens with a pen and a notepad.
Yes.
And at the end of the first day, honestly, I had written 10 A4 sheets of information. If that information were boring, I wouldn't have needed to write that much. But everything sounded important.
Okay.
Now, most importantly, the difference between the meaning of quality and the meaning of quality assurance and the meaning of quality monitoring and the meaning of quality assurance control. You know, those basic terminology which you assume you understood, in the course of 3 days we have been here, have become a lot clearer. So the challenge is just beginning.
Thank you very much.
It's just beginning.
Yes. I know you said that earlier on when we were having our casual talk, your directorate was set up somewhere around September. September up to now, what kind of challenges have you already met, and what have you done about them, especially being a woman? And I know the other side of being a professor, you compete with them as a female professor too. But being a woman and in such a huge university where you were talking of student numbers of around 40,000 and a lot of staff, what can you say?
Of course, there are bound to be challenges with any new product until you can build confidence in the people that the product is a valuable product to them.
Yes.
What we have started with initially is beginning to do some, not soul searching, but beginning to look at the things within the system that over the years with institutional memory, I must, recall the fact that I was a student in that university. And I mean, give or take, by next year would have been 40 years of associating with the same place. Now, we have a joke amongst the alumni of that university that when we studied here, our corridors were air-conditioned and you could eat in the toilets. Those are the jokes we tell the generation coming. And they find it very difficult to believe, but we are not lying about it. So I just sat back, went down memory lane, and I said, what was it like in 1981? What was it like in 1985? How far have the standards fallen, or how much have we grown? So we have started by trying to document some of the things that are glaring. There might be several things that are not glaring, but where standards may have fallen. But the challenges obviously would be cooperation,
Yes.
So initially you send out a memo and you get no response, and you send out another memo. But one thing that we have helped us is the determination to be resilient.
I like that.
And to be dogged. Because ultimately, the benefits of quality assurance within any higher education system, and my university not exempted, are a lot more pluses than the minuses. So yes, as a woman, I am in a male-dominated profession
Yes.
as an estate valuer.
Yes.
So career-wise, in my profession, we have a popular saying that we are all men. So it's been very difficult to really recognize the gender differences
Yes.
as an individual. It might not be the same, maybe with some of my colleagues, but as an individual, my first survey career, I was in the Ministry of Lands and Survey. There were 31 in a survey class, 30 men, and one little 15-year-old girl.
Yes.
So my career has always been on the other side. And sometimes, you know, the sensitivities maybe that some of my gender might face do not always appear in my case because of my profession, but they are there. And the African culture, we have our own approach to gender issues.
Yes.
But I think that with resilience and determination, we might get improved acceptance.
Yes, I want to ask you about what has been prevailing now that I see quality assurance as central, that now you are going to pick up pieces like you have rightly said and try to put things on the right path. And so how do you intend to move on from now on after the training?
Well, I think that in the absence of a quality culture in any environment, you would be talking to to the deaf. You will be hitting blank walls. So our starting point would be to get our institution on the same page. Or maybe not on the same page. We need to begin to build the awareness of the quality culture, you know, and we would obviously be looking to the AAU, you know, to give us some direction in that particular activity, where we hope that we can have public awareness, you know, university awareness training within the academic units, the academic support units, the administrative units, where we can let everyone know, and even amongst the students, that, you know, quality assurance has taken off, and we're taking off on a sound footing. Because when you go to the masters to learn, when you go to people who have had an experience of quality assurance on the continent, we hope we can get best practices from within the African continent.
Yes.
We hope we can brainstorm with other quality assurance directors, you know, across the continent and other universities. And we hope that that exchange of learning and ideas would break down the mystery of quality assurance to our own university community. So that is what we're hoping to do.
Yes. You have told me about your experience of working with men, and now when we look at quality assurance in general, from what I've said about what I've heard with people with misconceptions and negative thoughts about it, what is your biggest fear?
I guess one of my biggest fears is the fear that I guess most mothers have had to overcome, that when you try to discipline a child,
Yes.
you would make enemies. The child will not be happy with you. But again, that is where the gender comes in.
Yes.
You know, a mother will not stop trying to correct a child who is erring because she sees the bigger picture.
Yes.
And so the fear that there would be antagonism, there might be, you might make a few enemies to start with,
Yes.
which is not a challenge, because I guess a lot of times our children thought we were the worst parents and the worst aunties, and in later years they thanked us for it. So there is that apprehension that it might not be accepted.
Yes.
But I think with the assurance that we have, gotten over the last few days here,
Yes.
and with the exposure that we now have to see where it's working, we still think that the gains are much more than the apprehension. So the whole idea would be to try and take everybody along, to be firm as much as we can,
Yes.
to be transparent in whatever quality assurance measures that we have,
Yes.
to be systematic and to put the policy instruments and the tools in place such that at the end of our tenure or whatever, whoever steps in would have the tools to work with and ensure that we mainstream quality assurance in a sustainable manner into the university administration.
That's very good, because normally also the succession issue, you are there now, and maybe you also need to have people understanding you as you move along, because the scenario of having the ups, things are working, the next time things are going down, something like that. But what would be your message to the Rivers State University community regarding quality and quality assurance?
Well, the world is a global village, and the world is no longer, no university is in isolation. With the advent of the internet, with the advent of social media, it's one big globe, and our relevance would be how well we can compete with the rest of the world, and quality assurance, it's one of the ways to get there.
Yes.
Because if we want to learn from best practices and how things are done in other parts of the world, and we intend to incorporate them, then ultimately we can also reduce the brain drain.
Yes.
Because the brain drain of African intellectuals going up to other countries, as much as there are gains, there are also a lot of losses because our best brains go away and they don't come back. So the development of the River State, the development of Nigeria, the development of West Africa and the African continent is dependent on sound quality assurance.
That's true.
And that is why we must, it's a win-win.
Yes.
It's a win-win.
Thank you very much for
Thank
the
you.
wise words and for the talk and what you have told us about what you learned, and the whole talk of quality assurance and how you intend to move your institution on. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure to be talking to Professor Kakulu from River State University on quality assurance and on the general challenges and prospects as a woman that she may face as she takes upon as the Director of Quality Assurance for River State University. But I think we are all convinced that she is a well-armed soldier and raring to go. Thank you very much, Prof. And we hope to hear feedback from you on what you will be doing more about the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, till we meet again, thank you very much for watching.